All right, guys, good morning. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Norm is not going to join us today. He had the day off, but we do have Peter. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Carlos, I am fantastic. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Aside from a little lack of sleep
Excellent.
from my son being sick last night, kind of have a mild fever. Besides that, everything
Oh,
is
sorry to hear
uh,
that.
is good. Well, you've been through it, right? You have. For those, let's get to know Peter a little bit. For those that are on YouTube that do not know Peter, Peter, where are you from? Give us a little background, short and sweet, for our YouTube viewers that might not know you already.
Sure, I live in Canada. Had a long career in IT, large corporations. Been trading full time for about 4 years now, but I've been a trader for about 25 years. It's been a long time since I've had to nurse fevers in kids, as mine are all in their mid to late 20s and scattered around the world.
Excellent. Yes, and we saw your expedition travels at that one point, so that worked out well.
Yeah, December I was in Cambodia with my son, so yeah, it was great.
Excellent. All right, guys, let's get to our list today. I mean, we have to obviously start with Tesla this morning. It's just been, even if you're not trading it, if you didn't trade, it's been really fun to watch just the action, right? We normally do not get to see this type of stocks trading this way, especially a stock that is trading at at 800, 900 bucks, which just 6 months ago, 7 months ago was at 180, 200, right? So it's been fun to watch just the madness on this stock. Obviously, pre-market had a great pre-market activity yesterday. At the open, you had a bit of a sell-off here, going all the way down to 850, and then here just started recovering nicely, bouncing back. A lot of us in the room got in around this area here for long. Where's my pen here? Here we go. Let's get the 5 minute also as well in here. So again, was bouncing nice here. Once we saw this bounce here off the VWAP, it looked for a great long. Even if it was not a stock that was trading at 800 bucks, this pattern here, we see this quite a bit. So a lot of us took it long in this area. I myself took just 20 units in here, just 20 shares. And we rode this all the way up to 940. So a lot of people in the room took that nicely there. So great job there. Again, so it's been trading very well, very active, obviously. And then yesterday, towards the end of the day, came back up to test that 950 again. And towards the close, the power hour went all the way up to 970. And then this is something was just insane. I saw this on my phone. I was not watching the markets at this time. Look at this $100 drop here. And Peter, you was part of this action. You took it short somewhere in here, and you got out around 940 or so. I saw your screenshot. But you didn't get the. You left $70 on the table, man. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I know. I apologize to everybody in the room. I got really excited at the end of the day when I'd been trying the reversal. It was my fifth try when it finally worked. And I was looking for about a 20 to $25 move. And when I got it, I took my shares off at a moving average, which I thought would provide some support. I mean,
Yep,
I did not expect, who's going to expect $100 drop in 4 minutes?
absolutely.
So, I was so happy for about 30 seconds and then I watched it keep going. And I mean, man, is trading, can it be a roller coaster of emotions, can it?
It sure can. So today, guys, this is very active. 1 million shares traded so far. It is down 2.5 this morning. So it'll be worth watching again this morning. Let's look at what we had yesterday. We had LK on our list. LK again just didn't have the best open, guys. Look at this 1 minute drop here, right? Got very extended. Also on the five, it's just didn't really have any indication of what it wanted to do here. It did pull back a bit. This is a sign of strength, but when I see this sign of strength here, when you see this buyer stepping in, you want to wait to see what the next candle is going to do. That's very important. Some people will jump in here if you want to anticipate the move, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're gonna find in trading, guys, especially in our community, in our style of trading, there's so many different ways to trade. Right? There's so many different strategies, so many different entries based on your personality. Some people that are faster traders or lower time frame traders might get in here. Might consider this area to get in for a long, and depending on your style, you can do that, or you can wait for the next candle to see what kind of trend is going to set. It did get really choppy around this area, so if you didn't have a great entry down here, you really didn't have anything else that was indicating this thing was going to go be a long or a short. But look what happens after in 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you get rid of this choppiness, and then it starts trading really nice, hitting the moving averages, hitting back to the high of the day. So if you were watching this stock and were patient, you had a good opportunity on here for LK. ZM was a beautiful short, guys. This is one that I regret not taking because this is the type of trades I look for. So here you have the sell up, sells back down, tries to go back up again, cannot make a new 5 minute high. This is very important, guys. When you see this downtrend here, it's being rejected, right? Cannot make a new 5 minute high, and then you have the base down here that is going up against. Here clearly, once it breaks that down, you can see the nice, beautiful drop on ZM going all the way down really to 84 bucks from 91. So that's a great move. So hopefully some of you guys caught that. Bold Trader looks like you took that. Great, excellent. Hopefully a lot of you guys took this trade here for sure. It did find a bottom towards the end, 83.50. It did bounce back a little, but it took a lot to get a reversal going here. It was just so extended, but it didn't really get towards the VWAP at no point in the mid morning there. Here is JD, guys. JD, again, just very choppy open. In here, there's not really any pattern that you can trade. If you would have waited 15 minutes, maybe you would have saw a pattern for indication for a long. But overall, even on the 5, there's no real indication. This is just pure chop here. Again, it gave several fake outs, but every time it tried to get up there, it sold back down. Same here, sold back down. So that was JD for us. AMD, also another one that this was setting up for a good possible long opportunity. I had someone on Twitter send me their screenshot of what they were looking for here, and they took this trade and got stopped out. And this is a good trade. There's nothing wrong with this trade. You got the nice little pop here. You got the pullback that's kind of holding the VWAP. And then in this candle here, you can possibly have the opportunity, again, without knowing what's in here. You don't have this information yet. This looks like a nice little bull flag on the 1. You have a good pullback on the 5. The next candle could be a good opportunity to take it long towards this 49.81. So if you did get stopped here, nothing wrong with that, guys. It's just a trade that did not work out, but this looked good as a possible long here in this situation. After this drop here, it pulls back up, it gets toppy, then eventually loses the low of the day, and that's when it gives you a beautiful drop all the way down to 48.60 on AMD. But again, not the best open. It does trade nicely after that, nice beautiful uptrend towards the mid morning, mid afternoon, and afternoon and early afternoon. At lunch and early afternoon. There we go. All right, here's Disney, guys. Disney also got pretty extended. I was watching Disney. I wanted to short on this one, but this candle was very extended, guys. We did get a pullback here, and then some also on the next 5-minute candle towards the VWAP. But something about it just did not take the trade, and man, what a mistake that was, because look how clean this thing traded. Look at the 1 minute, comes up to this moving average and sell down nicely. This is a great reverse ABCD pattern. Probably the reason why I did not take that trade. I am horrible at identifying reverse ABCD patterns, but also it seemed very extended on the 5. Does find a bottom here, does hit the VWAP, tries to get above it, cannot, tries one more time, and then eventually is able to get back towards the high of the day here, towards that the mid afternoon. Here is Apple. Again, Apple also, a lot of these stocks were choppy. I think a lot of stuff was waiting to see what the market was going to do. Same thing here, like AMD, pops up, sells back down, eventually gets above the VWAP. After an hour or so, it does settle down and gives you a nice move. Kind of all those stocks yesterday morning kind of did this. It was kind of a lot of indecision happening right at that first 30 minutes to an hour or so on the stocks we watched yesterday. So that's what we had, guys. Let's look at the SPY and some news.
So looking at Twitter, Carlos, I noticed you caught a great trade on AIMT yesterday.
Yes, AIMT was amazing. So this was happening. I was going through that list now. You saw how I did not like most of those opening range breakups. So I started looking at the stuff we had yesterday. And this is what I saw about AIMT yesterday, which I love. Yesterday traded very well. We had it on our, not yesterday, the day before, excuse me. The day before it traded very well. I had a beautiful opening range breakdown here for sure. So for some reason that stuck in my mind. Like, you know, let me see what else we have. So I pulled this stuff up. It was not on our watch list. Didn't have a great pre-market activity. But it had this signs I was looking for. Look at the drop here. It comes back to retest the VWAP. And same thing it did the day before. It tested this level here, the low of the day, and then it dropped. So I went short right around here. This thing gave us a beautiful drop all the way down and never really comes back and tests our entry. So that was great to see. Sticks around to this 9 moving average. And then the good thing about getting an entry and you get this great space here is that now you have a cushion, right? So you can sit down, settle in, take profits calmly because you have a great cushion on your entry, and this thing never really even came back to test the VWAP after it left here. So again, turned out to be a beautiful trade. Went all the way down to 28, yeah, right over here. So it took some here and then the rest out over here in this pop. So again, just a beautiful trade on AIMT. Sometimes, guys, when you have your main watches, you don't see anything good there. Look at what you traded the day before. You might be surprised how much stuff can be trading well for a continuation play. So thank you, Peter. Peter, what do we have in regards to news? Pulling up the SPY now.
Yeah, so, well, if we look at the North American markets right now, we're sitting up marginally, 3 points, about just under 1%. So we're looking at, so far anyways, a potentially green day, which this market loves to do. In the economic calendar, we had a couple announcements this morning already. Nothing that really is going to shake the market. We had the U.S. exports and then the trade balance or trade deficit. Both are pretty much on target. At 10 o'clock, we have the non-manufacturing index. I don't expect any surprises, nor it to have any effect on the market. So largely quiet on that front. The thing that continues to overshadow the market that we all have to be aware of is obviously the coronavirus. So, another report of a cruise ship with off the coast of, I can't remember where it was this morning, somewhere that's been quarantined. 10 people tested positive with the coronavirus. So we just keep hearing reports. There was a report I was reading last night of officials saying, despite all that, China's been very cooperative, but they believe that the actual reported cases are far below the actual cases and deaths out there. So who knows, right? I mean, it's just one of those things that can continue to shake the market. And we're seeing a lot of stocks either positively or negatively impacted by that. So, it's really just, we're one big announcement or tweet away from it, something shaking the market.
Yep, excellent. And again, we're up nicely today, so it will be interesting to see how the morning open subs at the open. So let's get to this gappers list, guys. We got quite a bit on here. Let's start with MYO this morning. So MYO, it is gapping up 81% this morning. Has some pretty interesting daily. What's the float on this? The float, oh Jesus, is 500,
very low.
Yeah, 523,000. So to be honest, guys, I'm not even gonna watch something like this. It's just too much of a low float. We'll keep it on here, low flow pile, but most likely not one that will be definitely not making my main list, but could be one to watch. But again, remember, guys, stocks like Hunt, which got halted at $80. Remember stocks like BPTH. These type of stocks you want to be very, very careful. This stock is going from $6 all the way up to 36 yesterday, now to 24. So again, just a lot of cautious there. Any news on it, or
it's even worse than that, Carlos? I would say, just for people who are thinking of trading it, don't forget to look back on your daily charts. 4 days ago, this stock was 30 cents. 30 cents. So you got to keep that in mind on a float that's 500,000 shares. Like, this thing is extremely volatile.
Yeah, it's just really not worth it, guys. This is a way to blow up your account or really have a serious bad loss. Because even with risk management, if this thing gaps down, gets halted, you could still be stuck in a very crappy situation. So I'm just gonna, just for the heck of it, I don't want to look at it. I'm just gonna remove it. I don't want nobody to get tempted in trading that, especially if you're starting out. Just completely avoid even looking at that type of stuff. We have AIMT here again. So this is now up 9.6, right? We had 2 really bad days here, recovering a bit. 238,000 shares traded. It has some crappy pre-market activity, right? It's pretty choppy, but the volume is there. And in the intraday, the last 2 days has been trading very well. We caught a trade on this day here. We didn't catch it on this day, but it's definitely worth taking a look at to see how the open is going to be on this one today. LK is back on this list. LK is like becoming our buddies, always on our gappers list here. LK this morning has a good pre-market activity. We got some good action here, up 5.9, 557,000 shares traded, and it's a stock that has been trading very well. So definitely gonna keep an eye on it, and we'll do some fresh levels for this one here. Next we have BYND. All right, so BYND this morning, guys. This one, it is up 3.2, 125,000 shares traded. I do like the fact that we're bouncing off some levels of support that we have had in the past couple of days here on BYND. As you can see here by the lows and highs of the pre-market. I'm sorry, lows and highs of the previous days, and you do have some room to run here. And we did have levels before. We know 125 is an issue for BYND, and also 135. So we'll do that a little bit later. But I do like the way this pre-market activity is setting up. We have seen more volume from BYND in the past, but hopefully that can continue to get going here. All right, let's take a look at BP. BP is a foreign stock, so we're not going to spend too much time on it, guys. The reason we know it's a foreign stock, obviously, because we looked at it before, but also if you're new, just look at the way the daily chart has these gaps and how small some of the candles on the dailies are. When you see that type of stock, just look at do a little research on Finviz, and you can tell what kind of stock it is. So yeah, Ursula, I agree. This is a horrible daily chart, something we don't want to be involved with. STM, same thing. STM is also a foreign stock as well, another one that comes up in our list quite a bit. Look at the patterns as well, similar to what we just saw. And usually you're going to have a lot of volume, 173, but look at the pre-market, just very flat lines, no really any buys or candlesticks or good price action. IHG, 648,000 shares traded. Looks like another one. This one I don't know, but it looks foreign. Peter, if you could take a look at this one, I'll skip it for now, but it looks foreign just because look at the way the candlesticks are. Even if it's not foreign, this is not something I really want to trade. I mean, this doesn't look pretty good here. It also looks like a huge block trade here for 208,000 on this one trade here. So that's a block trade. You don't want to be involved in that. Let's head down over to Baba. Baba this morning, it's Baba is up nicely too, 2.3. Good pre-market activities, good volume, 281. So Baba is definitely worth keeping on our list. We do have some levels that look like they're still going to be pretty good. There's 225 right on here from a couple of days ago. Seems to be the low of the pre-market. We have 231, which is the most recent high. So yeah, Baba definitely on our list this morning. Next, we have Microsoft. So Microsoft has been doing very well. Let's see what it's doing today. They're gapping up again, man. Microsoft is just, they had earnings a couple of days ago, and they actually, I think, gapped down on earnings, recovered after that, and it took off. I believe they also have a new, uh, not, no, this is not a new CEO. I believe it was a new CEO, but I'm not sure. I'm not gonna, might be confusing with somebody else. But they have some positive news, guys, and look how nice this thing has been ripping up. So up 2% this morning, 512,000 shares traded with a really good pre-market activity. Usually these type of big stocks, you know, Microsoft don't trade very well. To see this action in the pre-market, that's nice to see. Definitely one that we want to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at,
It might have been
yep.
might have been IBM you were thinking of that had a new
Yeah,
CEO, but
IBM. Yeah, that's the one with the new CEO, correct. Let's look at GM here. GM is gapping up 2%. Not a great pre-market activity, and also GM has a pretty crappy or not clean daily chart, right? They don't have the best daily chart. They don't have the best trading neither. So again, not sure what's going on with GM. Any particular news, Peter, on GM this morning? That's gapping up 2%.
yeah, there's been a couple of news articles. Most of it is earnings. So they did have a good quarter. They've they got a little boost after their Super Bowl ad with an electric Hummer, mostly because Thor was buying all of the stock at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Thor is a huge. If you don't know, Thor is a huge Hummer fan, and that commercial was like music to his ears, man. You had to see the smile on his face.
yeah. So, but while they had good earnings this quarter, they did issue some warnings about potential softness in future quarters. So, GM could go either way today. And like you said, it's not generally a good trader. It doesn't move a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's not definitely not a clean stock that moves well. So might not make our final list this morning. Here, let's head down. Where's GM? GM popped off this list probably because it's dropping below 2%. But let's look at MU. MU will be next. See what MU is up to. So MU is up 2% this morning. Again, it's gonna be one of those days as well, slightly that we're seeing. You know, again, the SPY is up a bit, so a lot of these stocks are gonna be up quite a bit. And I expect this list is gonna get very large, very fast as volume starts coming into these stocks, right? So it doesn't mean that they are in play, but again, the SPY is up a bit this morning, so it's gonna drag some of these stocks. So MU has okay pre-market activity, not really anything too exciting or over the top at the moment, but we do have some nice room to run here to get to that 60 level if we're going to be bullish for the day in the market today, especially. Here is Tesla. Tesla, obviously, one to watch this morning, has a lot of activity, 1 million shares traded so far, has a great pre-market action, and the dailies is very interesting now because we can go either way here. Are we going to sell back down and kind of come to reality a little bit, or are we going to continue on this crazy bullish trend that we've been having the last couple of days, right? So Tesla worth watching, guys. Just be very careful. I mean, this stock moves. You want to be cautious with the number of shares you take. The stock moves in $25 increments. It looks like, right? $20 increments. So just be cautious of that on the number of size you take. MRK 262,000 shares traded right now. This one is dropping quite a bit here, 3.5. We do have some levels which I'm going to remove because it looks a little bit cluttered. All right, here we go. So we do have a nice little drop here. Not sure what the news is on MRK, Peter. What do we have going on with these guys?
Yeah, so earnings today, they took the opportunity with their earnings announcement also to announce some spin-offs. So a little bit of mixed results. They missed on their revenue numbers, beat on earnings. It's usually revenue that's indicator, that indicates how their profit's going to be next quarter. So usually when you see a beat on earnings, that's nice, but that's usually built into the price. Revenue miss usually means the stock price is pushed down. Now, spin-offs can go either way. It depends on how the market perceives it. And they've announced a couple of different areas, their women's health division and the biosimilar products, which they're looking to potentially separate. So that seems to be what's affecting it.
Yeah, and I recognize the name now because they are located in Jersey actually, and I was driving by and I saw this huge campus. I mean, their campus is amazing. They're I think the top. That made me look it up. Obviously, I googled it, and they're the top 4 pharmaceutical company in the world. So they're huge. So we'll see what these guys do today. Let's see what we have here. We have Tesla. We looked at already. Snap. right, let's get into Snap here. So Snap had a bad earnings or a bad report came out yesterday. I saw something, but I didn't read the whole entire article.
Yeah, they also had sort of mixed results. In some areas they beat their numbers were generally good, but the revenue was down. So again, because the earnings were up but revenues were down, you see the stock dropping a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. In this type of situation, Snap might be worth watching. I usually do not watch Snap because it can be very choppy. It doesn't move much. But today we have some catalysts on it. It is down 7%. And look at the volume, 1.6 million shares traded so far. So could definitely be worth watching. Daily chart looks good also. So we'll throw it on here. We might make this might make our final list today. And NVC has been one that has been making an appearance here a couple of times here on our gappers list. Today they are down 12.5. Again, active pre-market activity, guys, 166,000 shares traded. Not a stock that I trade personally. Just look at the daily chart. I don't want to be involved in anything that looks like this over the last couple of days. Just, it's just not my type of style of trading. So I'm not going to add it to the list. But if you have traded this one before in the past, whether you've done a few scalps on it, Andrew has had several great trades off this stock on a couple of days that it popped up nicely. This is one to watch this morning, but I'm personally not going to add it to my list. But if you do add it to your list, you do have several levels of support and resistance already based on the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Again, don't put too much weight on that because look at this daily chart. There's no pattern on this daily chart that makes these levels that significantly important. All right, with that said,
Yeah, it's NNVC is a really tough one because it's not even really news. It's all speculation. The company's been doing a good job about issuing press releases about them developing vaccines for coronavirus, but the reality is they don't have a buyer. So it's one of those things where they're trying to capitalize on the fear almost, right, to boost their company. But the reality is that it's a little bit of uncertainty as to what it's going to mean, and this is why you're seeing the stock all over the place. So I agree with you, Carlos. I'm going to avoid it myself as well.
Yep, absolutely. Peter, what do you have on your end that you like this morning that's not already on this list?
Well, a few that I'll mention just for awareness. So starting with CMG. CMG it was Chipotle. It's a high price stock, but they had earnings and they beat their earnings. So not in play, but it doesn't usually have a lot of volume pre-market, so it may come into play a little bit later. Ford had earnings. They missed their estimates, and that was down. Again, it's one of the automotive stocks. Doesn't trade well, but I'll mention it in case people are interested. Disney. I know we were looking for Disney earnings. I traded Disney yesterday. And they had sort of mixed earnings, looking like they may have some soft future because so the sort of soft reports coming up. So there may be concern over that, but who knows? Disney, I find it a little unpredictable with the announcements, but it could very well be in play, and it's already got 350,000 shares. And the last 2 that I'll mention are VVUS. Now, this is a very low float stock. I think it's about an 11 million share float. Normally, I wouldn't mention it, but they had an FDA approval on a pancreas, a new drug that has a 36-month shelf life, and you can see it's actually trading well. It's got a lot of volume so far this morning. I don't like, usually I like these things to go up and keep going up if you're going to get into it. Again, it's a low price, low float stock, so be careful on it, but it does have good news on the morning. Last but not least, I was going to mention, what did you not mention? Oh, Guild, right, Gilead. So, I've been watching it, just for the last few days. They also had earnings. Again, mixed results. Seem to be a lot of that today. So this time they beat revenues, they missed their earnings, but late future guidance. So again, a very mixed report. So I'll keep those probably on my secondary list to see if anything happens. But it all depends on what happens at the open.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we got some good ones on here. I especially like Disney. I like their pre-market activity right now and some of the levels we have that we can aim for. So that could be a good one. We had a question in regards to Ford. What do we think about this? How does it look? And also if the ATR is too small. And the thing about Ford, yes, the ATR is very small. This is why it's not on this gappers list here because we're looking for anything that's moving 50 cents or more. But on a day like today where they have news, they have a good possible start 3.8 million shares traded. They're down 7.4. It is something you can actually put on your list. But just be cautious. You're not going to get, we're used to trading higher moving stocks where, we get 20 cents in a matter of a couple of minutes. You get 30 cents sometimes immediately. This is not going to give you that, right? You're going to get 15 cents will be will be huge in a stock like this. So just be aware of that and plan accordingly your size, your stops, and also how you're going to take profit. So I prefer to take a stock that's going to move a little bit more, because for this, that means I'll have to take a lot more shares, and I don't like having 3,000, 2,500 shares. I'm very comfortable with anything shares under 1,000, between that at 250 to 1,000, depending on the price, obviously, and the ATR and highest moving. I'm more comfortable in that range. Not that there's anything wrong with it; it's probably the same thing, but you have to do what you're comfortable with in your style of trading. So let's take a look at what we have in the chat, guys. What do you guys like this morning? So AMD, let's pull that up. All right, so AMD this morning. So AMD, MU, BABA, all these stocks are going to be almost in the same situation, guys. They're all basically following the SPY. If you look at the SPY here, and we should put a chart of the SPY somewhere in my screen. I'll make room for that. It'll be good to have here. So if you look at the SPY, they're all doing the same thing, right? They all had the dip when the SPY dipped down, and they're all just coming back a bit now. AMD, MU, they all seem to be having the same type of style. That's AMD, that's MU, almost very similar charts. So I don't think they're really in play. If the SPY takes off and we do get a good movement on the SPY, these are two good ones for us to watch, but they might not make my final list. My final list is going to be some other ones that might not just be moving with the SPY, has some other news behind it that can cause some good opportunities at the open. Let's take a look at TTWO. TTWO this morning. This one, we have traded this one in the past. It does have a pretty choppy daily chart, but it has provided some good opportunities. Now, right now, today, I'm not seeing great volume on TTWO. They are gapping down 4%, so they maybe have some kind of news. Usually when this thing gaps down, it has some kind of news behind it. But at the moment, guys, I don't see anything great on TTWO. We need more volume out of this one. This could be a good possible if you like what you're seeing here on the daily, but overall, not anything too exciting at the moment. So Snap, we do have, guys. Snap is on here, so we'll go over in details on that one. This one looks interesting today. Again, today they have tons of volume. They're down quite a bit based on earnings. They missed some numbers, so this could be a good one to watch. Looks like you're trying to close this gap, so this is definitely one to put on our list this morning. Usually I won't put them because, again, they trade very slow. Disney we have as well, guys. LK we'll go over that one in a second. Let's take a look at YouTube, what we have here. eBay. So I see a lot of you guys on YouTube giving us eBay, Kane, and some other folks on there. Let's take a look at eBay. eBay this morning is, wow, had a nice, interesting day yesterday. I'm going to remove some of these levels. Today they had some good volume, 740. I'm not seeing a great pre-market activity for that type of volume. That's a great number of volume there. But as far as pre-market activity, I'm not seeing anything great on it. It is down 1.9. I'm not sure if they have any news, Peter, on eBay this morning. They obviously had a very interesting day yesterday, it looks like.
Yeah, I didn't see anything this morning on eBay. Yeah, I mean, I think remember the pop though was at basically an analyst suggesting that they were way undervalued and they could have a huge valuation, but nothing came out of it. So I feel that eBay is going to drop a little bit back to previous levels as people say, well, if nobody's going to do anything about it, it doesn't really matter what the perceived valuation is of the company, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll take a look at that later on. Right now, it doesn't look all that great. Also, TTWO, Gordon was just telling me that they have their CEO is stepping down, so that could create some movement later at the open. But right now, it's pretty flat at the moment in regards to volume. All right, what else we have? C. Let's take a look at C. No activity, guys. No volume on C at the moment, so we'll skip that one.
Someone mentioned Macy's, M.
Let's take a look at M. All right. Let's see what we got going on with M
here. I don't see much going on pre-market, but they have announced that they lowered their guidance yesterday after the close, and that they're closing another 125 stores and cutting around 2,000 jobs. So that's got to be a drag on it.
Yeah. And one of the things about Macy's, guys, be very cautious. It is a very choppy trading stock when at the open, right? They're going to get great volume, but they're just, we traded Macy's quite a bit, and I cannot tell you how many times we get stopped out on it because it's just how choppy it is. So just be aware of that. Look for a really clean move. If you get stopped out twice, just look for something else. I'm not going to add it to my list right now. Pre-market doesn't look great. We do have a block trade right on here, probably creating half of this volume, and I'm not seeing any great pre-market activity at the moment on Macy's. All right, we'll do two more. We'll do work. See what we have here on work. What's going on there? The volume starting to get going. 101,000 shares traded. What I like about work is the daily that we do have some opportunities here to possibly get going. So I'm going to add work all the way down here. for now. We do have on the daily a possible where you got a lot of room. If this thing can squeeze and get going here, we do have some opportunities to hit some of these levels on the daily. So we'll take a closer look at that in a second. All right, let's get over to announcements, and then we'll come back and fine tune this list a bit.
All right, so let's do some announcements, guys. What's coming up? But Valentine's Day, everybody's favorite pseudo holiday. And if you want to take advantage, we've got a Valentine's Day discount. So 40% off the single payment lifetime. So if you want to join and you're thinking about joining as a lifetime member, now's a great time. You can get a good discount, 40% off with the promo code LOVE, LOVE. So hopefully, if you're looking at joining us, you'll take that opportunity. We'd love to see you in the room. We've been talking about our forums, and every day our forums get a ton of use, and people finding and asking for information, get good answers from our membership. It's just a great collaborative space. We don't ask any fee for that. We provide that because we really want to make it very collaborative, but we do ask people to sign up for a free membership just so you can control spam and unwanted messages in it. So if you want to sign up, please go to the BBT forums. You can get it right off our webpage, and you can sign up for free. For those in the room, we've added a new options tab. We've been talking more about option trading, and there's quite a number of option traders that join us that trade not only stocks, but options on a daily basis, especially now with some of the popular stocks like Tesla, for example, just so expensive. Options are often a better way, a more cash efficient way to trade them. So if you want to talk options, use the options tab in our room. We got a few webinars, including one tonight. I'm really actually looking forward to myself to Jonathan Katz speaking about mental preparation and how to build a pre-market routine. That's going to be happening at 8 o'clock for all of our lifetime members. We always do these lifetime success webinars in the lifetime members room. So we've got the latest in the series tonight. So that'll be a great one. Looking forward to him, and hopefully as many as possible can join us. We will record it, but it's always better to be live so you can ask your questions and get direct answers. Coming up, we've been talking about Mike Bellafiore and other special guests. So we've got a lot of special guests recently, which is great that they want to join us here at BBT and talk to our membership. So Mike will be joining us for SMB Capital. As you know, he's probably one of the foremost public trainers, I would say, of these prop firms. And usually prop firms are fairly quiet and aren't out there, but he's written a book and some great advice for traders, and he's always happy to share his knowledge, and we love that. We love having him in the room, and he'll be here on the 12th. And then we've got a two-part series with Ed Martin. So Ed Martin will be joining us on the 19th and 26th for trend trading in two parts. So hopefully you can also join us for those. Now, we love doing meetups with our members. We've got one upcoming meetup in Dubai. We haven't set an exact date. We're looking for people to sort of give us your opinion when the best date is. Andrew's always eager to travel the globe and meet our members. And in February, we're thinking Dubai is the place to be. So please, in the forums, you can do that, and you can let us know what your preference would be. That's scheduled for February, sometime in February, and you can let us know what day would be best. Now, if you're not ready for a lifetime membership, but you're on YouTube and you're thinking maybe you'd like to see how we trade live and all the stuff we do in the rooms with our active callouts and our support for our members, I mean, we do that all day. All of us here are live on the mics all day. You can join for a trial. Use the code premarket24, and you can get sort of a 1 week, one-time membership. We promise we will not start marketing the hell out of you. We won't bug the crap out of you. Really, it's just an opportunity for you to trial the room, because we know not every room is good for every trader. And if we're the place that'll help you be successful in your journey, then we'd love to provide that support. So consider joining us just for the trial using the code premarket24. And last but not least, I mentioned Carlos being on Twitter and talking about his AIMT trade as well as his Tesla trade yesterday. We are fairly active on Twitter. Myself and Carlos and Norm and Andrew and the whole gang, Thor, we're always out there posting just to keep people aware of what's happening. And it's frankly a lot of fun. So join us at Bear Bull Traders on Twitter, or at Carlos M BBT, or at Norm BBT, or you can even join myself or Thor. We're all out there. You can find us, and hopefully we will see you in the Twitter sphere.
Yes.
Back to you, Carlos.
Excellent. All right, guys. Thank you for that, Peter. And I believe we do have a New York meetup coming up on the 21st. So a little bit last minute, but on the 21st of this month, I think Andrew's going to be in New York. So we're going to be setting up a meetup for then. So we're gonna post that in the forum. Once I have more information, I'll try to get that link for us tomorrow morning so we can post it out here. So if you're in the New York area, let's plan to meet up on that Friday, February 21st. All right, guys, let's go through this list. Let's start with LK. So LK, I'm going to keep, guys, good pre-market activity. We've seen a lot of great stuff out of LK in the last couple of days and some good intraday trading. So I'm going to keep that on here. BYND looks interesting today. It's got some potential here if we can break out of this pre-market high and this daily level we have here. So we'll take a closer look at that. I like that one. I don't know how this stays here. We'll delete this. This doesn't look great at all. Let's remove that one. All right, here we go. Let's look at, I also have AIMT. This one, it's okay. It's choppy pre-market, but again, it's giving us some really good trade in the last couple of days in the intraday. So we'll keep this on here. So BYND is good. BABA this morning. So BABA is one, guys. This is a good one. I'm gonna do levels for now. I'm not gonna keep it. I don't like the way the price action is on BABA, but I've seen you guys trade this very, very well. Especially our buddy David from Connecticut, and hopefully David from Connecticut can join us in this New York meetup on Friday. Good longtime member of the community. He always joins our meetups in New York, so really appreciate that. 228, we do have our high of our pre-market 228.30, so I'm going to mark that down right over here. Guys, again, you have some levels that we did before in the past, 231, 225.54, and then you have the highs and lows from the last two trading days. So again, decent pre-market activity, guys. There's no reason why you should not have this on your list. If you like this stock, it is trading very well this morning. I'm only taking it off really because I don't like the way it trades for me personally in the price action. But if this is your style, definitely keep this on your list. I'm going to remove it here. Here is Microsoft. Microsoft, guys, has a great pre-market activity, and we are hitting some highs over here. High of the pre-market sitting at 184.25, and it's been trading very well. So I'm going to keep an eye on Microsoft this morning. Hopefully we can get some good pre-market activity. Some good action at the open after this. Here's GM. GM I'm on the fence on, so not sure about this one. MU I'm going to take off. So I'm going to take off MU and AMD and all these other stocks. I'm just going to watch those separately as a secondary to see how, if the market is trading nicely and trending well, then these stocks can actually move very well. But overall, I'm not going to put these on my list right now. So here's Microsoft. Here's GM. GM at the moment. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, GM looks good. Tesla, definitely going to watch this one, even if I don't take a trade on it, just for entertainment. It got some great volume. Look at the volume increasing now. We're at 1.5 million shares traded. MRK is dropping here nicely, guys. Hopefully this thing does not get too extended. I do like the fact that we're losing some of these levels. We're hanging on a thread on this moving average here, so definitely want to keep an eye on that one. And Snap is looking good as well. Okay, so I thought I was going to get rid of more going through that, but it looks like not. So let's do some levels and we'll fine tune it a little bit later. AIMT already have plenty of levels towards the top, guys. Highs and lows from the last two trading days. You got some moving averages also in here. So again, plenty of levels on this daily here. Towards the bottom, you do have a nice level right on here. This 18 or so. So this area 30.18, 30.20, you do have several days bouncing off of that. So you got some good support for that. Definitely want to keep an eye on that. Below that, the previous day close plus a low from yesterday right on there around 29. If it loses both of these levels, the next best level, let's go back and look at this daily here. You do have an area right on here, 27.38. What I like about 27.38, you got the breakout, the retest, and then it pops up again. Then it cannot break this previous day close. This previous day close, guys, this is a very strong level there. Look how strong that level is. Has not been able to break that over the last couple of days here. Had to come right back down to this level again, 27.38. Went even further down to 25.33 before he went back up and finally was able to break this level. And then look at how he used it as support yesterday. After a huge red day, found support around this previous day close. So you got plenty of levels on AIMT. I'm going to watch this one, but I'm going to be cautious just because I had a great day on it yesterday. I'm not going to force a great day on it today neither. It's got to give us some good opportunities and some good clean trading like it did yesterday. So here's LK, guys. I like LK. LK, it does give us some good opportunities. Just be mindful of your share size because this thing does move a lot. You can get 50 cents, 30 cents pretty fast out of LK. So you do not need to take a lot of shares. Do not load the boat on LK. Take a reasonable number of shares that you can manage your risk accordingly. If you're using some of the hotkeys that you can manage your risk on, those are great to use with DAS. I think I saw Dan mention that there. You can definitely use that. But again, just don't go loading the boat on this stock because it can move very aggressively. 41.67, nice level here. You got some levels of support happening there. Above that, you do have a great one here at 45.58, and obviously all the way up here you got some other ones that's 59, 57. Towards the bottom, highs and lows in the previous day close, creating some really good support on here. Plus you got some moving averages coming in here, sweeping in under the low of the price action at the moment. Again, great pre-market activity, guys. Some good volume, up 6.8, and we have some room to 41.67 if we can break out of this 39.15. BYND banging its head against its high of the pre-market at the moment, which is a good level also. If you draw a line right on, you can see how many times we have tested this as resistance, as support, and now we're testing it as resistance again today. So if we can break out of that, we have some room. Next level on here could be this 118.37. Above that, we know 125 has been a tough area for BYND, right? Several days opening and closing around that area, and above that you have the one that's been rejected very heavily at 130, 135. So we'll see what BYND does today. We're not seeing the great crazy volume that we used to see on BYND in the past, but definitely worth watching this morning. Microsoft, we did already. We have our levels up here, 184.24. GM. We'll do some levels for it. I might not keep it, but we'll do some levels for it. So GM, high of the pre-market, sitting at 35.40 this morning. Above that, you do have this level here, which is 35.53. Above that, you do have another level right on here, which is 36.45. So again, several days using it as resistance on here and then as support before we break out. And then we had a huge rejection on here of this 36.45 straight back down. Towards the bottom, highs and lows of the last two trading days. You also got some moving averages on here. Do not need to add any more to make things a little more complicated down there. So we got a couple of block trades here as well. Just be mindful of that. So you still got some great volume, but there are some trades that are increasing that volume significantly. Here is Tesla, guys. So Tesla, again, looks like it wants to lose the low of yesterday, which is sitting right on here. I'm going to remove some of these levels we have from yesterday. So we have our highs and lows from the last two trading day. Previous day closed very close to what the high of the pre-market is today. And really, there's no other levels up here, guys. So if you just remove the levels you have, this is what it is at the moment, right? You don't have anything else because we've been at all-time high for a very long time. It's continued to break new ground here. So not a lot of history going back to the left. What you can do is here, this stock moves quite a bit. You could do some pre-market levels, obviously. 845, you can see clearly this has been a level. Look how it held here in the pre-market and then took off from there. So you want to have that down on your list. And then below that, you want to just look out for the 830, 825, 815. These whole dollar numbers are going to mean something. So just be aware of that. All right, MRK, this one I like this morning. It's kind of dropping down here quite a bit. It's got some good volume, down 5.9 at the moment. Low of the pre-market is sitting at 83.32, so we'll mark that down, 83.32. Below that, we do have, and this is a biotech company, so again, the daily chart is not going to be as clean, but they're a very big company, so it is okay to trade these guys. They're not going to drop on you, like crazy. 82.76, you do have some areas of support right on here as well. Below that, we do have another area right on here at 81.60. 69. So that's what we have towards the bottom. Towards the top, guys, again, not the best daily chart, so our levels are not going to be as easy to find, but 85.09, you can clearly see how this level has acted as resistance over these couple of days here. And then you also have some support happening over here as well. The last 2 days, we had a couple of days, 2 days that bounced off of that in the last recent week or so of that 85.09. Above that, highs and lows from the last two trading days. Previous day close, definitely worth watching. This stock has a good pre-market activity, some good volume, down quite a bit. So we'll look forward to see what that does today. Here is Snap, guys. Snap is making a move. Looks like it wants to close this gap. Low of the pre-market, 1674. Below that, we do have an area right on over here, which I like a lot, 1577. Look how great that level is. Resistance here. Came up again, had a hard time over these 3 days, finally broke out of that. And how many times we see this? I think I get tired of telling you guys. Breaks out and then comes back down, retests that support, and then take off again. So 1577, great area of support and resistance. 1674 is your low of your pre-market. And your high, it is now sitting at 1787. But that's going to keep going up. I'm going to mark instead this level here, 1770. And the reason for that, this is a better level. Look at the daily here. You got several days testing that as support and resistance. So I think that's going to be a better level to have. Also in the pre-market, we already had some tests being happening at that 1770. The next level will be the lows of the last two trading days right on here, plus a moving average slightly above that 18. All right, guys, so that is what we have. I'm just going to go through this possible list here, make sure we don't miss anything. CMG, I'm not going to have on my list. Ford is very active this morning, got a very active free market activity. Not my style of trading, again, these lower stocks, but it can have some potential. It's down quite a bit, 8.7 this morning. Disney, I do like as a possible, and man, it's taken off nicely here. Actually, you know what? I like Disney a lot more than GM, so I'm going to remove GM from my list, and I'm gonna bring Disney up, guys. So let's do some levels for Disney. I love the pre-market on Disney right now. Again, it's got great pre-market activity. Broke out of this level on the daily. If we go here, actually the levels we have now from previous days look very good and very relevant. 148.24. Look at the level of support there happening at that area. 150 also nice level of support, highs and lows right on there as well from the last two from the time we had this trading day here. Over here another one as well, 152.98. So again, three really good levels that you can still keep on your chart. If you want to mark the high of the pre-market, you can do that. But I think the higher the pre-market at this point is going to continue to head higher. Now, the price action is sitting right at a level that a minor level, not major, minor level that you might want to mark, 146.74. And the reason for that, if you draw a line right on, I'm going to draw a darker line so you can see. Look how many days have been bouncing, opening, and closing around that level. So again, you want to have that on there. I think it's a good area to have. But if it breaks out the 148.24, it's a great level to get towards. So that's Disney. We took Disney from our secondary list and moved it up. VVUS is a low flow stock of the day. I think Peter mentioned this. They have some news on their FDA approval, so that's always good. Gilt at the moment dropping down, has a great pre-market activity, so also could be on our main list. Work I'm going to remove. MU I am going to remove, so I'm just going to turn into those if they hit our turbo. If you have your turbo breakup and turbo breakdown scanners, those could be ones you can tune into later on. As the morning develops, if you see it start hitting those scanners, you can tune into those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just way too many. I gotta move some down from here. So let's just kind of recap a bit here. AIMT, to be honest, this stock, I'm only looking at it because I had a great trading day yesterday. But overall, I am not liking this pre-market activity. So with that, I'm not going to keep it up here just because of that. Let's put it on our secondary list. If it does something nice at the open, we can move it up. But right now, this is just not looking all that good. Already had two great trading days yesterday. Did a beautiful short. It could have a continuation and head back down to this level again. But right now, not looking all that great. So let's keep it down there for now. LK is moving. BYND, so on the fence. BYND can also be another possible. And the reason for that is BYND could be so choppy sometimes. It could be a hit or miss. We're not getting those crazy pops like we were before. But again, I'm just going to move this one down here for now. So we have LK. Microsoft looks good. I love the pre-market activity at the moment. Tesla, definitely going to watch here. MRK, worth watching also. Snap and Disney. All right, I think that is going to make our list this morning. Peter, anything that you think we might have missed? Art is mentioning Uber. Let's take a look at Uber. And Art, hopefully we can see you in New York on the 21st. Hopefully you can make it. Definitely enjoy having your company there. Last time we met in the city. Uber's making a move, and Uber actually traded very clean the last couple of days. We had it on our list. I didn't watch it, but Uber could be a good possible, guys. Peter, what else do we have?
Yeah, we got a lot of stocks hitting all-time highs, guys. So it just shows the size of the market. The only other one that I was going to mention, it's not a good trader and it's extremely high priced, but might be worth to note, Amazon. Amazon closed for the first time above a $1 trillion valuation. So it's joined the 1 trillion club. And that, who knows if it gives a little boost. I don't know if anybody trades those. I don't mind dabbling in them, but you just take small share size. And we talked about Tesla. I'm going to keep an eye on it just because it's been so crazy and there's such a big gap between even where the price is right now and the last close. So there's an opportunity for a move on it. So it could be interesting. We'll see what happens. But as always, I'm going to take it careful on the open.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great question here. MRK, how do you trade the news? So that's a great question. We normally do not trade the news. We want to know what the news is. But for example, they got negative news today. Obviously, they're down 4.1. But we're looking at the charts. We're really technical traders. So I'm going to be looking at the 5-minute to see what kind of patterns we can get out of that. Whether it's a short or a long, it can go either way here, guys. It can bounce from this 82.29. So again, I want to know the news on why it's gapping up or down. But really, I'm looking at the chart pattern to see what kind of price action we're getting and what kind of a pattern we can identify. So again, we talk about this in our classes, right? Your number one job is to identify a trading pattern, and then your number two job is to practice, to get into good execution and risk management of that pattern. That's all we're doing here, guys. So try not to have a bias. Oh, this is negative news. This thing is going to keep dropping. That could be dangerous. Now, I know traders that has worked for them, where they have a bias of a stock. Hey, I want this stock to go long because it has positive news. And if they get a setup that looks long, they'll take that trade and they'll do very well. So guys, do what you feel is good for you, finding it within your niche. So if you think that works for you, excellent, do it. Don't go changing, your tricks to do something else if that's working. But just telling you my type of style and how I'm going to be looking at these stocks this morning. I'm looking at all of them under the 5 minute chart, and I'm looking for them to give me a good indication of a pattern, and then we'll take the trade accordingly based on that technical indication. Looking at the level 2, looking at the time in sales, looking at the at the volume. You take all that information you have and make the best decision possible to jump short or long in a trade. Thank you guys on YouTube for joining us. Really appreciate you guys being with us. Take care, trade safe, and we will see you tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern time. Do not forget, guys, tonight we have a success webinar. If you're not a lifetime member, definitely consider being one, especially if you're going to be with us for the long term. It is worth the investment, right? And when we say lifetime, we mean lifetime, like, forever, like not 12 months, with little fine print at the bottom, not, lifetime of your cats or dogs. No, meaning forever. So definitely consider joining. We have in the lineup, guys, it is incredible. I mean, we have some really good speakers coming in, and we're reaching out to some other folks that have written other books. We're not going to mention them yet because they're not confirmed, but the minute they are, we're going to bring that to you. And I love this too, because this also helps us and as you as well. So it's a help for everybody to get these professionals and experts to come in to talk about these great topics. So, all right, guys, take care. I will see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time.
Later, guys.